lately.
Well, gentlemen, it's game number 1. The ban pick has started. Team Queso you will find on the blue with Qlash on the red, and immediately our first 2 bans are underway.
And only one of them is a little bit odd. The Lindis has, it's felt like come into the ban almost exclusively for EU as a 100% ban. The Zenial's a bit rare, and he's joined by a teamie. Those are all strange.
Well, we're starting to get to a bit normal here with the Telenos coming out. Both sides really don't want to give that away from what we had before.
Yeah, the Telenos in that side lane, very powerful, but I'm keeping an eye on the powerful characters that haven't yet been removed. Florentino will be the first one, but we've still got Elsu on the cards. He's got to be the next ban, and he's finally removed.
Interesting that it's gone this way, because usually the first team is the one who wants to go for the target band and then force the powerful bands out of the second team.
Well, something that I want to touch up on as well is because we find Qlash on the red side, that is going to get an opportunity for Sky to have the counter pick in the side lane, which we know he is capable of doing with that Irie.
The downside of that draft going the way it is, though, is that the Sephora comes through, is that the Annette comes through, but it felt like Qlash didn't take full advantage. They don't draft the Richter.
Yeah, they do not draft the Richter that could be so powerful in that slide lane. I'm curious to see if anyone's going to pick him in these early stages of the draft because, answered my question. Thank you very much, Team
Almost
Queso.
on cue. The Richter is about to get locked in as the timer hits 0. Not only that, but we're going to be finding a Liliana in the mid lane, potentially going up against that Flash.
The Flash is curious, though, because that's going to be a pretty decent play against the Sephora. That's why the Sephora is maybe being shifted over to the support role, which is very powerful flex by Team Queso. Qlash do back up their Flash with a Nakaroth and an Omen.
This Nakaroth pick is very interesting to me because usually when you go for an assassin, it's very dangerous to do that against the Sephora, but Nakaroth is special. He can get in, get out, and then get back in again once the Tide of Life is used, and then secure that kill that way.
Immediately, it's going to be a Joker as well as a Kriknak locked in. So the final roster now here for Team Queso.
Oh.
How do you feel about this Sephora being put in support?
The Sephora, oh, you're right, it is in support, so that's going to be interesting. That'll allow her.
Yes!
And we have it! Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's going to be none other than the Gilder as the final locked in. That's going to go right onto Sky himself. And I know
my day is made!
On his release, I was explicitly here, well, not in this specific studio, but at a different studio sitting next to you.
Yes.
And the excitement and slight animosity from Suijay when he was here, God rest his soul, definitely did not feel.
Suijay didn't understand. Daniel doesn't understand. Gilder, I understand you.
Right.
He has so many stuns. It was a matter of time until the pro players caught up with my meta.
Now, let's reel it back in a little bit. No, yes. Let's reel it back in best we can. Let's talk viability. True viability, not TJ's conspiracy viability. They are 2 very separate things. Sky coming out on Gilder. We talked so much about how he had the potential with the Irie that we were going to see, as well as the 80 carries. Now he's being put on a Gilder. What does that mean for his team's priority?
So as the Gilder expert here, I'm going to take that one.
Self-proclaimed.
I think I'm easily... okay. Anyway, the point is, the reason Gilder's kind of come back into meta as of late is because of the range on his Exuberant, which is this very, very long-range stun projectile. That puts him in kind of the same tier as a Valheim as having a point-and-click stun. Because it's such a long-range stun and an AoE stun, it's very powerful against poke compositions, like the ADC meta has brought in. If you're trying to deal with very powerful, very farmed-up side lane characters, having a big long-range stun is a pretty decent counter.
You say point and click, but it's actually pretty hard to land. The easiest way to land
for someone who's not.
I would like to correct you, sir.
Sorry.
It is a point and thumb press. It is not an actual click.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
We see the picks down. Let's go to this D2. Let's reel it back in a little bit more. Before we kick over to Clashes, as we're loading into the game, Team Queso's composition. Do you like it? Do you disagree?
They have a lot of just overall strong picks. When you think of the top heroes at as far as strength level, they just went down the list, and that's what Team Queso have come up with. So I'm not too... There's nothing really bad you can say about it. I'm just really looking at this Qlash side and thinking what they're going to do. I'm confused as to whether they're going to put Gilder mid, Gilder abyssal. You have to put Omen and DS. My mind is kind of just exploding right now.
So it's Sky on the Gilder, which means it's got to be sideline.
You say that.
I'm sure of that. They also have so much CC. If you look at the Flash, the Annette, the Omen, they have a lot of stuns and a lot of isolating tools to grab individual players who step a little bit too far forward. That might be why they brought the Nakaroth out when you did explicitly say that it might be countered by a Sephora, Because even if the Nacroth fails, there are so many other tools.
I
I liked it because it didn't actually, it's not actually countered by the Sephra, because he can go in and out and in again in order to bait out the tidal life and then finish her off afterward. But I just want to say, I don't know if I want to live in a world in which a professional team is power farming Gilder.
I do.
You just want a world that Gilder exists. It doesn't matter the level that it does exist.
Fun fact, I have always lived in a world in which a pro team power farmed Gilder. It might not have been the real one, but it was the world I was living in.
And now this is the world that I'm going to be living in for the next 4 weeks. I'm so excited. It's fantastic.
Welcome.
What I will say, though, to piggyback off of your point, something that Qlash does have is the pick potential in their composition.
Yes.
Something that we saw from Team Queso has been a falter is specifically the macro play and players, specifically Ibuchichi and others, getting themselves out of position. But we will find out very shortly as the European match #1, Game 1 between Team Queso and Qlash Spain has begun after a quick pause.
After this quick break. But let's take this moment to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of how the team fights and overall play are going to play out. Because, yeah, sure, you do have that Gilder playing, it looks like, we were right, looking at the minimap, the Abyssal lane to farm up super heavily. What are they going to be playing into? Is that going to give them an advantage?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that Joker is very good against physical damage dealers, so having the ability to do magic damage from 3 different sources, considering we have Annette here as well, is going to be very powerful against him.
I think you're absolutely right, and I'm going to keep an eye, if that is the Joker, in lane against them, because they have about equivalent range. You have the very long-ranged attack from that Joker rocket against the Exuberant. The difference is Simjo's rocket doesn't have a stun.
But Simjo's rocket does go through minions and through to the backline, though it does do a little bit less damage.
We'll have to see how it plays out. Up top side, it will be Team Queso launching a successful invade. Qlash on the counter response. Don't have an invade yet. Instead, they're defending their jungle.
Right, completely different response from both of these teams. Sky going directly to his lane. He wants to farm up first and foremost himself and then worry about his jungler.
And Sky now goes in, actually threatening to take this red buff away. Now playing defense.
Oh no.
The red buff resets because of that defense, and they don't get away with an invade successfully, meaning Qlash are behind in gold.
Sometimes when you have that Midas touch, TJ, you turn everything to gold and it pushes things away, and then the golem is not taken.
Hey, Gilder expert here. Every 4 attacks, Gilder's next auto attack is called Midas touch. It's this passive, and it's a surprisingly long-ranged AoE stun.
And it pushes away the golems that you cannot take them because they're at least TJ.
All right, that wasn't great for the Gilder, but Qlash definitely haven't suffered too devastating a loss. That was a defeat, but they're still definitely in this game.
Right, especially if they can damage memorize like this.
Poking him back. Redemption, though, has to bail as well, and that's arguably more impactful.
That's perfectly fine for him, though. They don't call him the most mobile hero in the game for nothing, so he's going to come back right ready to go for this Abyssal Dragon, which is about to spawn.
2 seconds on it, and Team Queso already have the control nearby. Ibuchichi and Simjo right there as Sky and the rest here on. Sky could actually steal this at range. He has the tankiness too. There's the Exuberant. It's too late.
Very good timing here by Ibuchichi. We talked about him, and if he's going to step up, looks like he's doing well so far on a very skill-intensive hero in Crickneck.
Zafta will get stunned out in mid. He's got a kind of range disadvantage against the Sephra.
Right, he has to get in there and physically be there to do his poke. He is kind of a poke character because he gets there and does the damage, gets out, but something like this can happen.
Cyclone, Ruiz will flicker to safety.
Very nicely done by him. And Zepta, that's how you do it. You get in, you get your damage. Sometimes he's dive, sometimes he's poke, depending on if you want to commit your Cyclone.
But that use of Cyclone, though it doesn't get much, it forces a flicker out of Ruiz, meaning that he's not going to have that extra bit of mobility for a while.
Right, that flicker is a 120-second cooldown. That's longer than any ultimate in the game, so if you can trade an ultimate for a flicker, sometimes it's worth it.
Especially on a character as focused in mid as this Liliana, that's going to be a character that is called out a little bit more often because of the nature of the mid lane.
Right. That said, though, it is a Liliana. She does have lots of dashes to her name.
So maybe not a complete victory. They certainly would have rather had the kill.
Yeah, it'll be perfectly fine, though. Again, both teams heading back to their jungles. That's why they want to play it very, very safe. This is the EU meta we've come to know and love.
Yep. EU AOV. Play it slow, play it steady, farm up your jungle, Then once you've hit that around 7 to 10 minute mark, start going for team fights.
Right, and that's when it starts to get out of control.
Oh, but Qlash want to disrupt the EU meta. They don't quite have the stuns, but that's a very long-range wind cuff. Now the rest of Team Queso come through to punish. Mowgli opts to turn and fight while Sky stuns up the rest. This is 4 players, and Mowgli's just got in.
What?
It's a brilliant Hurricane Bull, though, and he gets all 4. That's more than enough time.
Are you kidding me, Mowgli? This is the best I've ever seen him play with those beautiful wind cuffs and Hurricane Wall.
And more stuns to come. Team Queso have got to start getting worried about Qlash coming in, and they do, they back off.
There's a stun on almost all the side of Qlash here.
Cyclone right off the bat, he has to. Nope. He doesn't have mobility, only the flicker to safety, and Ibuchichi is hot on his heels as he gets behind tower.
Ooh, he was frantically pushing that flicker to get on out of there. He knew how much trouble he was in, but get out he does.
Sky actually under threat again as Ibuchichi comes through. That's just zone though, because this Abyssal Dragon's up.
Right, very smart of him to just go off of that. Don't get too aggressive. Go for the standard EU style so that they can take this Abyssal.
Mowgli doesn't quite have the range. Redemption in trouble in the meantime. Will stun up Yarvex and try and make his escape.
Flicker.
He does it. Zefta nearby, but Rui sweeps through the brush and finds an opening kill for Team Queso.
So you saw Redemption. He tried to go for the invade while the Abyssal was being taken. That is a standard play, but it burned him.
Memorize gets a double stun off that water wall. That's not bad at all. Now the Tides of Life chunk Zefta low. He'll Cyclone, bathing in the middle of the enemy team, and he might pay for it. He doesn't have mobility. The super speed barely comes up in time, and Mowgli will die for his avarice.
Did you just see what I saw, Ruiz? That beautiful unpredictable. He actually went within the Cyclone on purpose, and then at the very last second, popped the unpredictable. That allows a big burst of AoE damage to come in, and that allowed Zefta to get chunked.
And Yarvex comes through as well with a pick onto random. This is starting to look very good for Team Queso.
Team Queso looking amazing here. Their predictive power is on point. Like I mentioned earlier, when Redemption invaded, they knew he was going to go there. They cut him off, and they got that kill. They're continuing to make next-level plays like that.
I was trying to speak to a lot of the EU players, and actually, Simjo on Team Queso was perhaps the one who was most cautious about predicting the result. He said it's hard to predict what will happen. We worked hard, we'll try and win. He didn't say they were going to come in like this.
Well, it looks like his caution was there to show that they have come prepared.
Yeah, and Zefta is here trying to prepare for the tower pressure, but they've already lost a tower in mid. Team Queso doing so much work.
Yeah, look at that score. Everything is in their favor. The Abyssal Dragons, the kills, the gold, the towers.
Zefta will have a little bit of poke to try and undo the wave crashing in through mid. There will be a siege minion though, and a little bit more chip.
And by the way, look at Ibuchichi. We complained about him earlier, but he's doing great. 3.7k gold. He's got his build up working. He's about to get that rank breaker. The damage is going to be flowing fast and hard.
Ever since the early invade, the gold lead has been in the hands of Team Queso, and they have never stopped.
I call it the caster curse, or maybe the caster blessing in this case.
Yeah, no, we definitely bless them. It's all us.
Absolutely. Ibuchichi loves us. Definitely.
Team Queso playing around this Abyssal. It feels like Qlash have to start contesting these.
Yeah, Qlash, though, even if they get this, they're not going to catch up in gold. They're still going to be about 2,500 behind, even if they take this. So it feels like Team Queso is deliberately playing this slow so they can catch Qlash out for a team fight.
Maybe if Qlash overcommit on this Abyssal, Team Queso can then go in and take a fight they're favored in. Mowgli will back out, but Zefta doesn't get the memo. He goes in very aggressive instead and eats a little bit of chip.
All right, well, Random finally gets some payback here, finally gets a kill to his name. That maybe they can make something happen out of that. That was one of the matchups that we were looking at. Can Random force the side of Queso to go top? If he can continue to get these kills, that will work very, very well for Qlash.
Off that one pick, Qlash won a challenge for this Abyssal, and guess what Memorized has already done? Reset the Dragon.
Absolutely, that's what you have to do as a good support. Make sure that they can't take advantages when your team is not looking, and Memorize is always looking.
He's always watching. He'll remember to do that, and now checks in on the mid lane, forcing a little bit more pressure. Guess what that tower pressure lets him do? Drift down to the Abyssal, reset it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ibuchichi, though, he's got a nice pick. Random landed the Death's Embrace to take a long-term brawl on the assassin character. This time, though, the Kriknak wins.
I think the key to unlocking Ibuchichi's power is to just give him a ton of damage, TJ. Just give him all the damage.
Red and Zefta will challenge in mid to try and hold this tower. I don't think you're far off with that comment on Ibuchichi, though. We were talking, me and Jump, about his Season 2 performance where he looked so good. That was off the back of never being challenged in the jungle. The second team started to do that, he fell off. Maybe we're finally seeing the memorized effect.
Right, and if you can just clear your jungle that quickly with the abilities he has, he doesn't even have to worry about it, honestly.
Yeah, even if he didn't have a great support, Crickback makes it easy, but this is a good combo.
Wow, that wind cuffs into the Exuberance will do some major damage, as you just saw.
Scares Team Queso back. Maybe this is Qlash's Abyssal.
Yeah.
At the 8-minute, almost 9-minute mark, they'll have to move quickly. Certainly can't take their time. They bring their full 5-man or 4-man squad here, though. And they will be able to get it.
Queso are like, yeah, it's not worth it at all, especially because they still have the goal lead, still have the tower lead, they're fine. If they take that, that's an avenue for Qlash to get back into the game. I like TQ backing out there.
Playing safe, even in the top lane, but Random comes through, lands the Death's Embrace. He'll pay that all of Yavex's damage. I don't think he has quite enough to pay Yavex. He overcommits. He goes in past Random with the Jungle Strike, and now he'll pay for it. Actually, still full HP on Random until Ibuchichi sweeps down for the trade. Sky misses his his Exaltants down in the bot lane with the ultimate, so now Memorize needs to flee. He's got the Tides of Blood. Zephyr times it well, though. Past Ruiz immediately after, and Mowgli separates the team with an excellent Hurricane Wall. It's only Simjo's presence there that scares back Qlash. They can't take towers, not yet.
Yeah, huge back and forth there, but Qlash unable to get much done in the end because Team Queso is just so good with their skill shots. They just bounce right back and land all of them, chunking down the members of Qlash.
That is brutal. You outplay them perfectly, and Team Queso just land the fight.
Yeah, of course, because you can do everything perfectly, TJ, but if you get into an actual team fight and they outplay you, it's just going to be all for naught.
And that's what it was. No tower gains, nothing really gotten from the kill that happened up top. Now, Qlash will lose a tower in mid.
And Team Queso, despite having Joker on that marksman, they do have good tower killing potential.
Random, part of Qlash's tower killing potential, will be scared back behind his own.
Yeah, let me go on that though. With the Liliana and the Sephira, they're able to do so much damage to towers. Even the Richter and the Krieg able to chunk them down.
Now Team Queso are pushing wave. They've got an eye towards this enraged Abyssal Dragon.
Right, Enraged Abyssal Dragon and the Darkslayer, which you see Ibuchichi taking right now, are the two major objectives that will allow either side to take this game. And oh my goodness, Team Queso get it without Qlash even knowing. That is a disaster.
Well, they know now. The obvious answer is to go in and try and steal away an Abyssal, but that's already been kited back by Memorized again. Such a good support player.
That is the worst way to find out. It's like, oh, that's thing on the screen there, huh?
Memorized now in trouble again, but he's got the Tides of Life. Zepto will go in, trying to burn him down. He's the support. This is taking too long. They finally get the kill. Zepto will continue chasing. Actually, they might unlock Simjo as well. He turns well, though, and gets an even trade, and all the while, there's the mid-pressure. Sure, you got 2 kills, Qlash, but Team Queso are working away and whistling away your defenses in the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Turning a 1-for-2 into a win for their side. That is so great by them. I can't believe Simjo able to take out 1 while being chased by 3, TJ.
That's the power of the Joker. Redemption will have to back off from his own jungle now, as Team Queso have so much control.
Speaking of Joker, look at his build. He has the Ringbreaker, he has the Fenrir's Tooth, which means he does so much damage anytime a squishier hero tries to take him on, like Zepta on the Flash.
Random's trying to work out if he can find this Drake, and he just realizes he can't, especially now that Yavex has shown himself.
This is very smart from Yavex. Just stall out. You don't need to push into the side of Qlash. All you need to do is just stand there and make sure that Random doesn't take it down. That's it. He's being a little too patient for my liking.
Yavex will now go in. He's got the rest of his team. That's why he was waiting. Random will be punished. Ibuchichi with the kill.
Okay, my mistake. Then they're able to take him out going from the bushes. That was very well played.
The rest of Team Queso do notice that the rest of Qlash are here to defend. They'll go in. Rui's knocking up Sky. He'll back up Zepta's Hurricane Wall. Not quite enough. Even as he tries to stand within it, he's in a lot of trouble. The damage from Mowgli, the chip is working out, but Team Queso are simply healing up too fast.
Right, I'm looking at the bottom of the minimap, though, because they're not able to get many towers out of this. Memorize is pushing into the middle tower, but he can't actually get into it.
Yeah, Simjo does have a presence, but he's deleted. Sky going through. He gets a canned laughter off, but Redemption will end his life.
That is the death sickle at work there. If you're wondering why he had a sliver of life for what seemed like a second, it's because it was 1 full second. That's what the death sickle can do for you.
A moment of invulnerability while it's saving your life by giving you an HP burst.
Absolutely, and that's a great tool on Joker because you don't want to die and come back with the Blade of Eternity. You just want to be there and do your damage while you're clinging onto the last seconds of life.
It's that fifth item, sorry, in his build right there. The purple Sith, Scythe. Pressure in mid from Qlash returns as they're trying to get out from behind their base for the first time. Is there a way back into this game for them?
There absolutely is, because they have so much poke damage out coming here from Zepta, from Sky. Whenever someone's low, they can get in with Red. So I am not counting them out yet. I'm just more worried about the cohesiveness of Team Queso, not whether Qlash can do it themselves.
Qlash are pressing pretty far forward. Team Queso, though, don't have that cohesion yet. Yavek's being burned down, actually. Random doing the damage. The rest of Team Queso have arrived. There's that cohesion. Random, you're the only player left. Zepta comes through with the other 3 from Qlash, but they're faced by 4 members opposed to them. And Ibuchichi is moving fast. Cyclone, Hurricane Wall to start him up. There's actually a very good exuberance. That would have been lethal.
Yeah, Ibuchichi, he's so aggressive there because he has that Dark Blessing, which means it's a very similar effect to the Death Sickle, which means if he gets lethal damage taken on him, he gets a burst of healing, and that allowed him to stay in that fight, even though he was in the midst of a Cyclone.
Oh, these exuberances are really chunking, though. Shout out to my boy Gilder.
Absolutely. Look at that build. He has Staphanul, he has Hecate's item, he has Boomstick. That is so much damage. There's even more AoE damage coming from his side, and it comes very, very quickly because of his cooldown reduction.
Yeah, one of the things I love about these late-game Gilder builds is you can have an exuberance like every second. You can just be spamming these gigantic stuns.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like that.
Big damage through onto Simjo, though. Red will get burned for it. Ibuchichi now looks for an entry. Random will be able to stun him up, back off.
Oh my goodness, that is why you pick Joker, because when a Necroth comes on you, when an Assassin comes on you, you bully them and shut them down before they can do anything to you.
But the damage they found in return keeps Qlash safe for now, and Random is now feeling confident enough to actually duel Yavek, scare him off of lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Random has been so powerful this entire time dealing with that Richter in the top lane, but I want to see Team Queso continue to do what they're doing. They have that 10,000 gold lead, just continue to poke and prod at these towers. Eventually they will fall.
You talk about that 10,000 gold lead, but the level lead has almost run out. We've seen nothing done with that Enraged Abyssal Dragon buff. Only a few towers taken with the last Darkslayer. This is starting to look dicey.
Right, they're having troubles going in, but once they go back and turn around on that Darkslayer, they may be able to push in.
Random, do you dare do this? He does. He'll take the tower. There's only one player being sent to respond to him. He's just going to keep pushing. The rest of Team Queso group up around the Darkslayer, perhaps knowing it should be their next major objective. That means there will be a 4v4 around it while a backdoor threat, Memorize, does go through. Big stun found. Oh, good Hurricane Wall. Ibuchichi's caught out.
No.
He'll go in. No, that's 2 kills to him. The Horde Rush pays off. Team Queso haven't lost a player, and they remove all 4 up top.
Oh my goodness, Ibuchichi comes in. I thought he was for sure going to die here.
And now Random, he's split. He can't defend the core. It's going to go down in the meantime. Even as Random wins, that's going to be game 1 to Team Queso.
That is it. I was so worried about Team Queso for a second. They're setting back a player that was losing to Random the entire time, but they're able to take it. They're able to take the 4-4-0 trade. And that is a beautiful victory for Queso.